Welcome to So Many Receipts. I'm Shelley Seddon.
And I'm Fleur and Shelley.
And we're two entertainment journos based in Sydney, Australia, who love to analyse and talk about all things reality TV and pop culture.
In Deep Dive, we go all in on stuff we're dying to know about, plus chats you won't want to miss. Today we're talking with the fabulous and funny Mike Goldstein, one of the resident panellists on The 100 with Andy Lee, which is now in its 8th season, screening 7:30 p.m. every Wednesday on Channel 9 and 9 Now. He also hosts one of Australia's most successful comedy podcasts, The Phone Hacks, and will be appearing at the Brisbane Comedy Festival May 22nd to 25th.
And like myself, Mike is also a very rare breed, a Aussie, a Yank-Aussie hybrid. Mike, thank you for joining us on So Many Receipts.
Thanks for having me. I haven't heard the term Yazzie before.
Yes, I
love
know.
Me neither.
I got that from the Crocodile Dundee guy, Paul Hogan.
Okay.
Who's that guy?
I've heard Seppo. I've never heard Yazzie. I get Yeah. You don't like Seppo?
No, that's terrible. Yazzie is so much better. So much better.
I think we have to explain what Seppo actually means.
It's septic tank. That's
Yeah,
septic tank, yank. Yeah, that's a very 70s
tank rhymes
thing.
with yank. It is very, but I'm still because I'll do gigs, and if you're in the country, especially, people will yell Seppo at you.
No.
Really?
To me, it's funny to me though, because it's such a complicated way of getting to the yank part of it, from Seppo, septic tank, yank. It's just so convoluted that it's so many steps that I'm kind of proud of them,
So we have to get this over with at the beginning. I'm originally from Iowa, and I lived in Kansas City, and you're also from a flyover state. So we might be cousins or something. So where are you from in Kansas?
Well, I grew up in Overland Park, which I believe you spent some time in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you are cousins.
So what years were you there? Yeah, we could be.
I'm going to show my age. It would be like 1988 to 90.
Okay. Yeah. I was definitely there then.
I'm much older than you. I lived by the High V.
Oh, on State Line Road?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly where it is.
Okay. No, the High V was right down the street from me. So there's every chance you were watching me skateboard behind the High V.
Oh my God.
It's a reunion. It's so touching.
So we were in Kansas City way before Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce,
I know. Yeah, we stuck with the Chiefs in the pre-Mahomes years when it was very tough and very grim.
I think we were ahead of the trend, ahead of the curve. So you just got back from the U.S., is that right?
I was there. I was in Hawaii last September getting married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And before that, I was in LA a few months prior, and then I'm going back again in a few months to spend some time in Kansas and New York. So I go back once a year.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. Yeah. So do you have anything to report? So you were there before Trump took over again then?
Yeah, well, as far as I could tell, everything's going great over there, and it's
nothing to see here.
Absolute, nothing to see. It's a utopia. Everyone's having a great time. So
America is great again.
It is, exactly.
You're the most positive correspondent there's ever been. You should just get a job on Channel 9 News. Just the happy correspondent.
Yeah, if they'll take me, I'll do it. Why not? That's we need some more optimism these days, I think.
Yeah. So, Mike, how did you get the gig on The 100?
It was actually through trolling Andy Lee on Twitter. He wasn't aware of who I was. I'd been doing stand-up for years, and he had been doing radio and the various TV shows with Hamish, so we hadn't really met. And then he posted a tweet where he was trying to throw a tennis ball over his beachside mansion and catch it on the other side and catch it and fall into his infinity pool. So he posted a tweet saying, with this video saying, everyone should try this. It's so fun. And so I retweeted it and I was like, everyone with your beachside mansion, try and throw a tennis ball over it. And then he thought that was funny and he retweeted that. And then he eventually came onto my podcast to settle the fake beef that had been set up through this me trolling him on Twitter. And yeah, we hit it off from there. And then he wanted me as a writer on the show, and then eventually a regular panelist. And here we are 6 years later, and it's still going.
Amazing. And
I
so,
love that.
Yeah, that's so good. And so
So the lesson is troll celebrities online as
Yes,
much as
we should.
possible.
I was just thinking that we need to do that.
slide into the DMs.
Yeah.
What celebrity would you want to work with that you should start trolling? That's a good question.
Oh, J-Lo,
Yeah.
Fiancé. I mean, because I wouldn't want to start too high. You've got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So I heard that you were a lawyer before you became a comedian. Is that true?
That's right.
What kind of law did you practice?
I was practicing corporate and commercial and moonlighting as a comedian at the same time. So I'd be, long hours at work, billable hours, which is no way to live. And then I lasted about 2 years and then pivoted into comedy full time, and quickly realized both the law profession and showbiz is filled with bitter alcoholics. But
oh my God. Was that in Kansas City?
No, I went to KU, which you would be familiar with, Shelley. I was there for a while for my undergraduate, and then eventually ended up at UWA in Perth for my law degree.
We're going to talk about this. That's my old uni. We know each other. All three of us know each other somewhere.
I bet if we looked at each other's Facebooks, there would be a lot of mutual friends.
Have you seen Somebody Somewhere? That show? It's set in Kansas. Yes, that's a great show, isn't it?
It's so great. She's amazing. She's an amazing comedian, and that show is real solid. I think they've only done 2 seasons of it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it's just
so good.
Kansas life. It's good.
I know. It's amazing. Yeah. So
Mike,
we could take your pick. We could talk about Kansas or Perth, either one.
Well, we're going to, but we also just wanted to add, we're actually 2 failed wannabe law students as well. Shelley did get into law, but I'll let you say why you got out of law. And I narrowly missed out on getting to law, which was my life's 17-year-old ambition. So we both didn't end up getting into law and ended up doing this. Did we make the right choice?
100% you made the right choice. I wouldn't wish the lawyer life on anybody. It's long hours. It's a lot of reading. It's dealing with clients that, aren't the best, depending what law you do. I think it can be rewarding if you're doing a more altruistic, say, even pro bono work type law. But I was doing corporate and commercial, and our big clients were the insurance companies. So I was on the evil side of things before quitting. So very not the most rewarding profession. And like I said, I only lasted 2 years before finally going full time with comedy.
But what about the money? And what about walking away with something that is just such a high money earner to go and to be a starving artist, basically?
The money is good, but do you really get to enjoy it if you're there for so many hours a week? And then even a lot of lawyers take their work home with them. And, Saturday, Sunday, you're still looking at briefs and doing whatever research you need to do. And when I told my parents that I was quitting law to do stand-up comedy, they said, that's fine as long as you never ask us for money. And
that's fair.
I went about 2 years before I asked them for money. So, it's a huge choice, especially, I was in it, I was doing it, junior practitioner. But now I'm glad I did. It worked out. There's a few years of life on the road as a comedian where I wondered if I'd made the right decision, but I think ultimately it panned out.
So, Shell, why did you leave law? Just catch Mike up.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to UMKC, go to law school. And my last year of school, I went to Washington, D.C. to do an internship and I was going to work for the Federal Communications Commission. I lasted a week at my internship, and one of the friends in my dorm was working for the Kennedys. And I was like, oh my God, I hate this internship. And he's like, come work for the Kennedys. So I did, and all I did was party, and I kept deferring law school and never went back.
Nice. That's a good reason to defer.
Yeah. I think the party out option is very good as well. You would have enjoyed yourself, so why not? Yeah. So like we all kind of didn't end up as lawyers for various reasons, but I think we made the right choice.
And now we're on an obscure podcast in Australia. It's fantastic. It worked out really well.
not gonna be obscure once you get that sweet Mike G bump.
That's
know?
Right.
So,
Okay, so on that topic, we are a podcast about reality TV and entertainment. So in the spirit of so many receipts, we want to chew the fat with you about some shows that you know pretty well and scatter them throughout the chat. We asked you to name some shows you were happy or semi-happy to talk about. And so show number 1, you admitted that you got hooked on 90 Day Fiancé during lockdown.
That's right.
Yeah, just a brief recap. 90 Day Fiancé is a show I'm extremely familiar with, which is on here in Australia on Binge, Foxtel, 9 Now, Apple. It is an absolute reality TV phenomenon in the US. It is incredibly popular. So basically in the States, if you're dating someone from another country and you want them to live with you permanently in the US, you can apply for a K1 visa, which gives you a short, sharp 90 days only to marry them. And if you don't, they then go back to their country and have to start the process all over again. So we see how couples fare in this process. So Mike, what are your thoughts on 90 Day Fiancé? Here's your big moment.
My big moment. I absolutely am hooked. Like you said, I love it. I love the fish out of water aspect of it. I love how painfully awkward it is sometimes. I can't believe how excited I was for the first tell-all at the end of one of a season when they're all in the same room together.
Yeah.
My wife makes fun of me because I was like, oh, this is like reality show Avengers, when they're all in the same room together. Like it was because they have them going to America, and that's fascinating for, someone from, say, a third world country living in America for the first time. And then when they go the other way, 90 Day the other way, and it's Americans, visiting Russia or wherever they've met someone online. And then to see Americans coping with culture shock is a fascinating watch as well. And then the big aspect of the show is when some old guy gets catfished and is just wandering around Russia looking for, this 25-year-old bombshell he met online. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've watched so many seasons of the show now. We're currently in our Shekinah Sarper. I don't know if you're familiar with those two.
Yeah, Shekinah and Sarper. I'm not sure who's had more plastic surgery. It's like they're conglomerating into one.
They are turning into the same person. It's and they're both. She seems kind of down to earth, but then I don't know. Some of the behaviors in that relationship is some of the most bizarre interactions I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and he cracks me up because he's just such a himbo, just a male, bimbo idiot that it's like it's so funny to me. And you pick your favorites. I think that's with the reality show. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have people you absolutely hate when it's their stories on screen, and then people that you find compelling or funny or for whatever reason. And over the years, my wife and I have had different favorites, and then people she didn't like the Darcy and Stacy twins.
Oh, I love them. Talk about plastic, fantastic.
I know. And they've had their own spin-off, right? They're doing their own thing. The Family Chantal was a whole era of that show.
That went to hell in a handbasket. It really did.
Yeah.
So basically in these shows, the casts usually are new casts every season, whatever the show is, but some of the more popular ones get brought back and you follow their stories all the way through. And a long time, as a long-time viewer as well, it has really changed over the years. It used to be a more sort of genuine, almost like a real life documentary. Like imagine that in the
Yeah.
day. But now there's so many spin-offs, it's hard to keep up. Also, I was thinking in a series on at the moment, which is before the 90 days, we have a man in a wheelchair, an autistic man, a blind man, and a trans woman. I mean, these people have significant dating challenges anyway. Why
Yeah.
complicate it by dating someone from another country? What's wrong with an ordinary person down the road? Like, what is the appeal for people
Have
to
you
go and date someone in another country when it's so hard to get in the country in the first place?
have you met Americans? We don't want to deal with each other at all. We got to branch out.
Oh, I see. Just too ordinary.
Well, I think it's the internet. It's that people find these connections online and then are convinced this is my soulmate. And then what's fascinating with this show, it's so often they realize it's an absolute train wreck once they're in person together, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's being documented. It's to me, yeah, I used to kind of love the catfish stories, and there was an older lady who got catfished by, and it's so obvious. The whole family is all like saying to them, "You're getting conned. What are you doing? Just stop sending money." They're always sending money, and then they're just convinced. They've convinced themselves that this is true love and this is my soulmate, even though they've never met them in person. And then when they finally do, it's just usually it doesn't work out. And I think that's what you want. You want conflict in a reality show, right?
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't really work here in Australia because we do give people in the same situation. I was reading 15 months, so it would be 450-day fiance here, which
It's too
I don't
long.
know, maybe I think you need like a couple of weeks or something, like 21-day fiance. Might be
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
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 So
And in Australia, it would just be dodgy old men going into Thailand.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true. Same story, right?
so
yeah, exactly.
just going back to the 100, who are your favorite panelists to appear with on the show?
Obviously, when Hamish is on and you get Andy and Hamish back together, it's like, they have such a rich history and relationship that it's just awesome to see them bounce off each other. Sophie Monk is a regular on the show, so I get to work with her all the time. I love Kate Langbrook. She's hilarious and, has no filter whatsoever. And then if they get someone from the stand-up comedy world, which is where I was coming from, it's usually a good friend. So Tom Cashman or Becky Lucas. Yeah, if you have a good friend on the panel list, then it's great to just kind of improv and go off the cuff and see what happens.
Yeah. And who would make up your dream panel if you could bring anyone in, like comedians or your idols or favorite celebrity?
Okay. Living or dead?
Yeah. Let's go big.
Okay. Let's go R. Kelly, Michael. No, I'm just kidding.
Gotta get the rating.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, you'd have to go classic comedians. I mean, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Bill Hicks. Yeah, I mean, just people I've idolized my entire life, and I would probably be in awe of being around these people, Robin Williams, that I would probably just be quiet and just let them talk the whole time. But that would be the dream.
What about some alive ones?
Oh, some alive ones. Okay.
Just to round it out.
Yeah, there's a Shelley. You might know of a American comedian named Dave Attell. Dave Attell has always been like a big hero of mine.
Amy Schumer named her baby like Jean Attell after Dave Attell.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So Dave Attell, one of my favorite comedians, I get him on there. And then, so one other person, dream panelist. Of course.
He is a dirty, dirty man. He will say the rudest jokes. Like I just watched the last episode about this poor girl who is in emergency services in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, oh, is it just like, oh, Gary fell on a carrot again? Like, who can say that? You know what I mean? And I was like, I cannot believe he said that. And everyone just acts, no one flinches.
Yeah, he gets away with it. He's charming enough, and yeah. So he's been in showbiz long enough. He knows how far he could push the line and still, get a laugh and have nobody care. So yeah. He's another one that always enriches the show when he's on the panel. So yeah.
Like, can he just is he dating Carrie? Like, can they just come out and say they're both adorable? They're both like amazing, sexy, gorgeous. Just tell us you're effing already.
No comment from me.
I was to say, when they were talking about should you date your ex, and you had the joke about, well, Megan Gale, like did Andy react? I didn't see any reaction. That was a hilarious joke.
He did react. I know in the past he doesn't really like when I bring her up, not because they have bad blood or anything, or it ended, poorly between them. But I just think he said to me, he goes, I don't think people remember that I dated Megan Gale. And I was like, what are you kidding? Like, that's one things people will always remember. Yeah. So I think that's the first time a joke involving, bringing her up has made a cut of the show. So I was happy that one got in. Yeah, and his reaction. Hilarious. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope Andy did as well. If he left it in, it's he approved.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Did we? Sorry, I dropped out for a second. I don't know why. But did we talk about our Sophie Monk story?
No.
Okay, because you were saying, who would you like for us to have on the pod? Like, we would love Sophie Monk to come on the pod. So if you can pull any strings, even if it's like, like tooth floss kind of level string.
I could send her a text right now. She's obsessed with reality TV. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure she would do it.
So once, like years and years ago, when I was visiting Shelley in LA, I said to her, okay, I want to see stars in the wild. I want to make a tally of how many we see just walking around the streets and stuff. And we saw Adam Sandler and Keanu Reeves, all nice, all fine, all good. But then we were in Ralph's at Shelley's local supermarket buying corn chips, which were blue, which I'd never seen before, and a whole lot of other stuff. And then Shell just elbows me and goes, over there, Sophie Monk. And she had come in to buy something. And then what did we do? We had no plan, but we were so excited, and we just started shadowing her. Please don't think we're creepy, Sophie, if you do ever see this.
Light stalking.
Yeah. We just wanted to see. We just wanted to be in her aura, I think. And then we lost her sort of at the meat section or frozen foods. Like, she suddenly disappeared into the ether, right?
Remember I told you before we went to the grocery store, I was like, I always see Sophie Monk here.
Yes, that's right. And she was there. I still remember she was in high heels, a skirt, and she was wearing a denim jacket with a high ponytail.
Right.
I even remember it. Please don't think we're creepy, but we do remember it.
But I don't understand, because no matter what time of day, she was always at Ralph's, and she was skinny, so it's not like she was actually eating a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Supermarket at Ralph's on Sunset.
Okay. So I'll put in the text, 2 ladies that used to stalk you in LA would like you on their podcast about reality shows. We'll see what she says.
I'm sure she'd love to be on. And she was the most glamorous person in that supermarket. I mean, she brought the wow factor to Ralph's that day. She looked fantastic.
Oh, I bet.
Still, and like, she's in LA 10. That's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, she's the best to work with. She, you can take the girl out of Queensland, but you can't take the Queensland out of the girl.
That's right.
And she tells stories about being in LA, and she'd be out to dinner with like these high-powered executives, and she would say something that was too wild for these, old Hollywood men to even cope with. And she oftentimes would offend the table. And that's Sophie. And she rules because she has no filter. And on set, she, during the break, has to turn her back to the audience so she can vape without anyone but me seeing, which is amazing.
And she is one of the most beautiful women in Australia. I mean, goals.
100%.
You know, absolutely. Back to your background, Mike. You are in Melbourne now, but as we mentioned, you've also lived in Perth. You went to UWA, where I went to uni as well, because I'm from Perth as well. What is something that you'd only see in Perth?
Okay. Well, as you would know from living there, it's, the mining boom. There's a lot of money going through there. And I'll say this on stage when I'm there. So I put this out there before, that Perth has the dumbest people with the most money out of any city I've ever been in.
Apologies for my relatives there who also have the money, but anyway.
But you get a lot of, FIFO workers, and I've seen multiple times a lime green Ute pickup truck, Shelley, with a matching jet ski towed behind it. So I think only in Perth have I seen the lime green Ute with the matching lime green jet ski, which is amazing.
Because a jet ski is expensive?
I think so. I think to own one, and I think to have one, it's an expense that, you have to have some disposable income.
You absolutely do. Yeah. See, things like that, I just ignore them because I think it's normal. So it's just that just doesn't mean anything to me, because I see weird stuff like that all the time. But for me, it's always the car ride from the airport to anywhere at night, if you've flown in at night, because it feels like there's only 3 cars on the road. It feels very, very eerily quiet. Like you're in this weird sort of town out in the middle of nowhere, which you kind of are. So that always just still gets me. It's like, wow.
It does have a big country town feel. Even the skyline is like 4 buildings. And you're like, oh, that seems so small. And I was thinking about tourist attractions that they try to have, and the bell tower. I remember that being an absolute. They were trying to compete with the Sydney Opera House, and they put in the bell tower, and it's a punchline over there. Like it's I don't know if you ever visited Fleur, but it's like it is bizarre looking. Yeah, and I don't think it gets a lot of tourist traffic, but it's bizarre.
It's a little tiny small building compared to the Sydney Opera House. It's sweet. It's sweet. I mean, I think the main thing is Rottnest and the Quokkas. Have you done the Quokkas?
Of course. Yeah, they used to run they used to run a weekly comedy show on Rottnest Island at Governor's Bar. And it was some of the rowdiest shows I've ever done in my life. Like multiple fights breaking out during the middle of a stand-up comedy show. So yeah. I spent a lot of time at Rottnest, and a lot of it I hardly remember. So,
Some of the fights were Quokkas, I'm sure. Like fighting each other. Exactly. They are incredibly tame. If no one's been, I urge you to go if you're in Perth, because it is really fascinating. They will come right up to you and, underneath your feet while you're eating sandwiches, that kind of thing. They're very, very cute.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you recently married your longtime partner. So you're still in that honeymoon phase. I know you guys have been together for a long time, but now you're married, it's official. How is life as a newlywed?
It's fantastic. I think she's in the background. Yeah, so I have to watch what I say. It's great. Like, we initially had planned to get married in Hawaii, October of 2020. So obviously that had to be canceled, and finally got around to doing the wedding in Hawaii in September of last year. But what was interesting about that is the guest list changed from the 2020 wedding to the 2024 one, because you lose touch with people, you meet new people in the meantime. And so what would have happened is people who were initially invited to the 2020 wedding and didn't make the cut for the 2024 would have been looking at Instagram at photos of a wedding they were once invited to. So
oh no, the D list.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Exactly. So, yeah, but we had the dream wedding in Hawaii and then spent a week in Maui after that. And then came back mid-October straight into shooting more episodes of The 100. And it's great. You know, we don't have any kids. We just have 2 obese cats. And it's been fantastic.
Oh, good.
Shelley, I was sure you're going to jump in with some cat-related Tina Fey fur baby moment there. Maybe you should, just before we move on.
I'm also a crazy cat lady. So
Yeah.
you're not a crazy cat lady, but I'm a cat mom. My cat's name is Tina Fey.
Oh, nice. What do you want to meet LaShonda right now?
Oh, okay. LaShonda?
Hold on. Here. Come here. She's right next to me. Oh, she's big. Oh,
that's a big girl. Hi, beautiful girl.
Wow, what do you eat, LaShonda?
I know.
What doesn't she eat?
She got big during lockdown, like we all did. But yeah.
Beautiful.
There she is.
Oh,
that's LaShonda.
Okay, living her best life. Wow, you need a nap after picking her up.
I know. Yeah. I think I threw my back out just then.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just regroup and calm down, because now it's time for your show pick number 2. You say that your lovely wife is a fan of the Real Housewives shows, but do you hate it? Mike, do you have anything positive to say about this franchise at all?
I am kind of fascinated by who their husbands are. That might be, I don't know, patriarchal of me or something, but it's like, who are they married to? Because oftentimes it's NFL players or CEOs or something. So if I know who the husband is, I'll kind of, listen in. But she's always has it on in the background. They always seem to be screaming at each other about some random bullshit. And they just go to a new location in every episode and scream at each other, and then they go somewhere else and scream at each other. It's just like a dinner party or an island getaway. So it seems to be, I don't know, but then she has her favorite cities for the housewives. Like what's your favorite city for the housewives? She's Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills or Miami are her 2 favorite cities.
Yeah,
so
thumbs up. Thumbs up, Mrs. Goldstein.
You get a thumbs up for those. Yeah. So she always has it on, and there's so many different cities. And yeah, I'll be interested if I know, like, when I knew Denise Richards, obviously, when she was dropping into that one. But yeah, outside of that, if I don't know who their husbands are, it seems to me kind of cookie cutter. Put these women in a different situation or setting, give them copious amounts of alcohol, and let them scream at each other. Yeah,
that's the formula for sure.
So whose husbands do you know?
There was the Atlanta ones. I think there was a football player. Who was the NFL players? Or the
Kansas. He was a free agent, but he was playing for Kansas City.
Oh, there's someone playing for the Chiefs. Do you remember his name? No. But yeah, if they're connected to the NFL at all, I usually know them. There was some music industry guy. Maybe that was the Melbourne one, wasn't there?
He played for Coldplay.
The Coldplay guy. Does that check out? Yeah,
the Coldplay
from Melbourne.
Guy? I don't know.
No. Silverchair.
Oh, yeah, Jackie Gillies.
Yes, Jackie Gillies. You went from NFL to Coldplay to Jackie Gillies and Silverchair. But you got there.
I got there. Yeah. So yeah, outside of that though, I just can't. I got to put headphones on if she's watching.
Our husbands are the same.
Yeah. My husband calls them oxygen thieves whenever he walks by. Yeah. Really. Look, we don't blame you. It's not a man's thing. We do not blame you. We struggle to find men to actually talk to us about this.
Unless they're gay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then to me, kind of I guess another aspect is sometimes you see them further down the track in like a later season, and the amount of plastic, and work they're having done seems to get crazier and crazier every year. So, I mean, sometimes you're looking at there's, they get a range of kind of older ones and younger ones. And then it's the amount of, fake,
Everything.
let's say everything is another element I find fascinating. But yeah, I can't sit through an episode.
So speaking of looks, we have actually a lot of discussions about male facial hair on the pod. So,
yeah,
it's an interesting choice, rocking this. I'm not going to call it a porn stash, the Mo.
Yeah.
So what was your inspiration? Is it like Magnum PI? Is it Ned Flanders? Is it like...
I've got Ned Flanders before, actually. I would love more Magnum PI. Big Tom Selleck fan, but it was just actually another lockdown thing where I let everything grow out during lockdown, and like I had a huge afro and the beard and the mustache, and then once we had our freedom back, I shaved everything but the mustache. My wife told me she hated it, and I decided to keep it in spite of that. So,
and she married you anyway.
I know, and she's used to it now. I feel like I've had it now for so many years that if I were to get rid of it, it would be a shock. So it's here. I think it's here to stay. It's a laziness thing as well. I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Yeah.
Can you just ask her right now and shout out, hey, the girls want to know, should I keep my mo or shave it off?
Oh, yes.
All right. Hey, the girls want to know, should I keep my mustache or shave it off?
You have to keep it now.
Oh, she says I have to keep it now.
It's in stone. It's in stone.
It is.
It's a contract. It's a legal contract. You're not shaving it off. Okay.
It might be
great.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have it recorded now. She's on record. There you go.
Okay, now on to show pick number 3. Your show pick. You're also a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, of course. The amazing show starring the one and only Larry David, who co-created Seinfeld. So this show was hilarious, but looking back, very un-PC, very unwoke for the day, with a lot of things that it poked fun at. Why were you a fan? And is it a bit sad that comedy shows nowadays are forced to be more PC?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was a huge fan, or no, I am a huge fan. They just did their last season, but because Larry David is, so old and cantankerous and, a curmudgeon, that he gets a pass by being PC or saying the worst things possible, because it's like your grandpa saying something crazy and you're just like, oh, whatever, that's just grandpa. And that side of him, which I think informed Seinfeld, a lot of the humor in Seinfeld as well, is why the show thrived and why people loved it. And I think you're correct that maybe a lot of new shows are wary of offending, but South Park still exists. It's still on air, right? Mm-hmm. And Family Guy, and I guess they're animated, so they kind of get more of a pass as well. But it's refreshing now, I think, if you see something just trying to be funny for humor's sake and not worried about offending this group or that group. Like, obviously the paramount consideration should be, is it funny? And not just be edgy by saying something offensive and like seeing what happens. But I still think there's new comedy being produced that definitely in America that does push the line and is unworried about being PC. There's a new show called English Teacher. I don't know if you know that show, the starring Jordan Alvarez, and that has kind of a 30 Rock sensibility where they're just like, yeah, these are jokes, this is a comedy show, and not really caring if people get upset or offended, right? I almost feel like we're past that with if someone gets triggered or offended, it's their problem. And I feel like most people are like, okay, well, you have a right to feel that way, but I have a right to say or joke about what I want to joke about. So yeah, but Curb Your Enthusiasm, amazingly, one of the best episodes is Palestinian Chicken, which could not be produced today for a variety of reasons.
So much of it couldn't be produced today. I was trying to think of something to bring up to you of my favorite episodes, and I was like, okay, can't say that. Don't know how I'd say that word on a podcast. Can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's what kept it interesting and kind of vital that when it was on. And because, like I said, Larry's an old guy and his humor's always been like this. And he just doesn't, his not giving a shit attitude is what sells it.
So speaking of comedy, you're appearing at the Brisbane Comedy Festival in a couple of weeks. What kind of hot topics, what kind of things can people expect if they come see you?
My stand-up is kind of informed by being an American in Australia. I mean, there's a lot of options for material there. And then it's just, observations on married life, relationships, and just whatever I can kind of find a solid punchline about. So it's anything and everything. And it's this show in Brisbane will be kind of like a best of my stand-up from the last few years. So yeah, get along if you're around in Brisbane, and it's it should be good, well polished material. And I know a lot of people hate crowd work, but I tend to do a little bit up the top, and then the rest will just be a solid hour of jokes, hopefully.
Love that. So we're going to play a this and that segment in honor of the 100. So here's our question. Do you prefer the paper on the toilet roll to be on the outside or to be on the underside of the roll?
Outside. 100% outside. Anyone who says underside is a sociopath.
Okay, so I'm totally overside as well, Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, what kind of heathen has it on the underside?
So I reckon everybody prefers it overside. So why do you see it on the underside in so many houses that you go to?
I think this is why, and because my wife does this, she will put it underside on accident and then is too lazy to switch it to the correct side.
Oh, I see. Well, I have been the kind of person that's gone to friends' houses and changed it for them because I can't leave their bathroom without it being correct.
You're welcome.
But that's a good act. Yeah, you're doing a good thing. That's karma.
It's my one like good thing for the world. Like I changed your toilet paper roll.
Be the change.
Everything would be ordered in my mind, if not your mind, but in my mind, everything's in order.
Well, on that very note, So we just want to thank you, Mike. You have been an absolute delight.
Thanks for having me on. I loved it. And it's great. We had these background connections immediately, Kansas and Perth, the two places that shaped me. So that's, it's fantastic.
Exactly. Well, so it's been fantastic chatting to you about the 100 and all things comedy. Thank you so much. And you can catch Mike at the Brisbane Comedy Festival, May 22nd through 25th. Listen to his podcast, The Phone Hacks, and you can watch the 100 with Andy Lee and Mike Goldstein. We've promoted you to the title of the show. Wednesdays at 7:30 on Channel 9.
Guys, thanks for having me on. That was great.